Do you have some time? I need to talk to you about something. Some time ago, a vigilant was sent to the mansion of a noble from Coral. Now we've received a letter from him, asking for reinforcements. I wanted to send him a few vigilants immediately, but letters take longer to arrive than usual, what with the Civil War and everything, but it's been months since he was sent there. Also, the vigilant hasn't returned yet, and I fear it may already be too late. I want to leave this decision to you. What should we do? All right, please, be careful. I will prepare a carriage in front of the temple to take you to the mansion. Bartholo. He was sent before you joined us, so you've never met. He was supposed to investigate a series of mysterious deaths in the mansion. The Rondir thought they were just coincidences, but Bartholo disagreed with him. I remember how they quarreled about this. This is why it was only Bartholo who went to the mansion. He's from the Bruant family and earned his fortune by breeding military dogs for the Legion. He also holds a seat in the council. The family consists of Lord Marcus, his wife Julia, and their son Julius. Lady Julia died last year, however. They found her burnt body at the shore of Lake Ilinalta. I prepared some documents, so you can read them on your way there.
Welcome to Act 3 of Vigilant. So in this quest we start off by taking a carriage to the Bruant Manor to investigate a string of suspicious deaths, a cursed body, and the cease of communications from the vigilant Bartholo. The reading here explains what exactly happened to the body that Jacob discovered, and that there's a presumption or assumption you could say that there's a curse placed in this manor, so we gotta go investigate it more or less. So I'm just gonna arm up with some spells and whatnot, which should potentially, wink wink, protect us from things to come. Because, as I mentioned last video, this can get pretty spooky, and you'll see in my gameplay, I'm going to get jump scared. But yeah, so I actually turn around here and I have the opportunity to skip the quest. And I think this is implemented purely for people that want to skip to Act 4 without having to submit to Molag Bal.
Welcome. We have been waiting for you. Please, follow me inside. My lord will meet you there. Don't mind me. If I may invite you in, my lord is waiting for you. Master Bartholo is also waiting for us inside. Please, come in. It's not that unusual. It's a common name for an elf. Like the rest of my people, I am just a shadow, a remnant. Nothing worth talking about.
So after the confrontation with the suspiciously named Baal, he shows us, "Nah mate, everything's fine, come on inside." Well, I'm inside now, and the atmosphere has quickly deteriorated. For starters, who's that kid up there? Why does he vanish? Who's his body? Huh, this is the owner of the mansion. This can't be good. Where do I go? Let's go this way. What the fuck? What the fuck? So, Skyrim is very unique because it's able to create eerie environments somewhat accidentally. If you recall your first playthrough of Skyrim, how claustrophobic does it feel in a Dwemer ruin, or in a Falmer crypt, or a Dwemer barrow? I'm just combining and making them up. But there is a sense of claustrophobia, and I think extended playthroughs of the game make you more or less familiar with it. Like, oh yeah, whatever, it's just another dungeon. But mods like Vigilant really recapture that claustrophobia that you first experience when you play through Skyrim's dungeons. And I think really it's just that feeling of isolation. Like, you're the only one here. But there's the only nice person here, quote unquote. But yeah. Obviously, from Act 2, the eeriness is stepped up again. Like, you stepped up, and then now it's like full throttle. And you don't realise until you finish Act 4 how deep you've actually gone. Because you come back to regular Skyrim world, and people like farming and chopping timber and whatnot, and you're like, oh, everything's happy and pleasant and sunny. And it's so jarring. And it's why I would always recommend mods of this nature for late game playthroughs. You know, something that you would go, yep, I think after this quest, my character canonically, my character decided to just retire. So the main story of the Chart of Oblivion quest in Act 3 is to solve the curse of this mansion. So the context is the son placed a curse on the mansion because his father killed his mother in a gruesome way because she was having an affair. He was having an affair and she found out. This didn't make the son particularly happy, so he made a few sacrifices with the help from Bard and cursed the whole mansion so he couldn't escape, and that's why we see him dead at the start with the dagger in his head. That dagger will later dispel once we get to it. Now, in Act 2, we're dealing with LeMay, who's thousands of years old, and her curse, see, here's one of the inhabitants here. Ow. So LeMay had a lot of hatred in her curse that we dispel. Well, that was thousands of years ago. Her hatred's somewhat probably dwindled, whereas this is quite recent. So its blood curse is way more powerful, way more dangerous to us as a character. But yeah, we'll go around the mansion finding various blood curses we need to dispel. This is one I'm currently running through, and yeah, they can be. I think there's some that with really good verticality, but you'll see I'll just fast forward through them in future to a degree. Like, I mean, you can still watch them, but they're just sped up because you sort of. It's just what you're seeing now is you just get more of it. As for the actual mansion enemies, we're looking at unkillable wraiths or ghosts or zombies or whatever you want to call it. It's basically the inhabitants of the mansion that got gruesomely murdered. And they're not killable. Oh, I love this glitch. It looks so funny. So they're not killable, and they drain your stamina when you look at them, and when you look at them it blurs your whole vision, making it very difficult to escape because now you can't sprint. And I know it's edgy, but they're level 666. So yeah, what can you do, eh? But for a lot of people, when describing this quest mod, I've seen always refer to this as the amnesia aspect of the quest line, because yeah, there's a lot of common themes spread out through Silent Hill and whatnot. So there's a lot, it's just a lot of inspiration from the horror games, I think, for this one. It's just a nod to them. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, I think the first time I played through this quest mod, I skipped Act 3 because I thought I was doing the right thing by helping LeMay rather than fight her. And yep, completely missed this. I was pretty upset about it because I like being spooked, contrary to popular belief. But yep, now we just got to dispel, much like the Oblivion gates. We got to destroy the sigil stone, and we get back to the mansion and continue hunting for further blood curses. Wow, that is just absolutely creepy. It's funny too because, you know, he's T-posing, but the silhouette's enough to just sort of make you like, oh. These letters are just those letters showing that, firstly, Bar's doing some naughty business with Patricia, but also grooming the young Julius, corrupting him. Hence the blood curse of corruption, which we're now delving into. And now I'll go supersonic mode. So we go up to the very top of this one. This one's not too bad. I do like this one. The verticality can be quite good. But, yeah. So, if it's not evident already, Molag Bar really enjoys toying with vigilance. Because they're so easy to corrupt. I mean, look at the main quest line in Skyrim with Molag Bar. Vigilant immediately turns on you when offered a means to escape. And he's also goading Stendar. He's sort of like, look what I can do. You can't. Haha, you can't stop me. Haha. But at the same time, he's jealous that he can't have what the Aedra have, which is access to Aetherius, which is really what Molag wants. And we'll probably delve a bit deeper into this during Act 4. But while we're dispelling the various blood curses, I think I'll take just a little bit of time now to talk about some other mods that I would recommend, because, you know, this, I wouldn't say this is the last quest mod I would run before ending a playthrough. I haven't actually played Glenmoral, which to me is quite controversial, but I think I'm just waiting for it to be finished and voiced, because I think I'm getting to a point now where I don't have enough time to, I know it's ironic because I'm making these videos, but I don't have enough time to do multiple playthroughs once it's finally voiced and whatnot. But, you know, I've heard it's really good, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, a few mods I would definitely recommend for late game characters. Well, the first one's obviously Beyond Reach, and that mod, even though it takes place mostly in the Western Reach, the Evermore, it's very dark and dreary and depressing, and yeah, it's just quite brutal, I'll be honest. It's probably, I'd say it's worse than this mod in terms of its depression scales, but the closest I can compare it to is the overhaul mod Enderul, which also I'd definitely recommend trying out. That is depressing, but there's some really great voice acting, really good stories going off on that quest mod. Or no, well, it's more than just a quest mod. I'd also recommend Forgotten City. That has so many ways you can end it, and the main way to end it is really left field, but it's definitely good. It's yeah, very complex sort of quest. Another quest mod I recommend is called Carved Brink. That's really interesting. Yes, you can see how I freaked out then. Oh, I don't remember this entirely, this mod, when I was playing it again, so I was like, still taken off guard by it, which really is a testament to it. But yeah, so what is it? Carved Brink. That's another good, really aesthetically pleasing quest mod. Lots of really nicely placed props and whatnot. Like, it looks really good. And the story's not too bad either. So, okay, here's where it gets spooky. look at my little hands quiver. You can see the cursor frantically moving about. I'm pretty scared, I'll be honest. Even watching it back, I think I just got goosebumps. But we managed to escape. So that's Julia, who's the Manor's wife, and Patricia, who Bar was courting. And that's the chef, Sumil, who's now a big freak of a man. So it's a very, it's just creepy. I don't. So we got to snag the key here and make a dash to the courtyard, which is a little nice rest break in the sun. Oh, it's so good. 666. Whoa, that's pretty strong. I'll finish up on the recommendations while I get through here. If you're playing a mage character, the Spectroverse mod goes into some deep lore regarding the stars. I mean, if anyone out there read the lore books on the stars? Yeah, no. It's basically every star in the sky is this powerful Aedra-like entity that escaped the universe to Aetherius, whereas the Aedra put all their power into creating Mundus. The Daedra opted out and just ruled their own planes. Everyone else yeeted out of the galaxy, and they're the stars. They're like little tears of hole. It's like the sun being the eye of Magnus. It's like the source of all magical power. Anyway, nerd. Finally, I'd recommend Final Cataclysm, which is specifically designed for endgame quests. So it's a two-parter. You can start at level 50, and I think again at level 80. I want to say 80. I can't. Or 81 even. But yeah, that is very different and very enjoyable. Some really cool mechanics on display. So we're in the next Blood Curse now, and I don't even know who this dude is. Just like a butler or some sort, like a Jeeves. But yeah, so we just got to punch through, just destroy these freaky abominations. Froth and Sage, got to just, I wouldn't mind a froth and beer right now, but actually, I'm just going to pause and grab one. How's that? Oh, you ripper. Now, some other mods that I would definitely recommend downloading that I can't live without anymore. So, they're must-haves. Kershocker must-haves, right? TK Dodge. So, you can see throughout this playthrough, I'm dodging like a monster. It's such a simple feature. It's probably very difficult to implement, but it makes such a difference when you're playing the game because it really spices up combat to such an interesting degree. So definitely recommend TK Dodge. For my animations, I'm using Leviathan's animations. I find them to be pretty solid. They look aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and are all around like really well integrated. There's multiple different types, and they all work really good with Dynamic Animation Replacer, which is like a support mod. Kind of like SKSE in a way, but not. There's also a good mod that changes all your first-person animations, which definitely also recommend. The one I'm using actually, you use Warhammers in first person. You do like a forward, like spinny around attack, which does ridiculous amounts of damage. It's to the point where it's broken. But yeah, quite fun if you're playing a Warhammer build, I suppose. Sky UI, definitely. It goes without saying. It's one of the top mods of all time for a reason. If you're playing on PC, yeah. UI in Skyrim, yep, I see what they're going for when they designed it, but it is not made for a PC at all. It looks disgusting. But Sky UI fixes it. And finally, true directional movement. This mod alone completely changes the vibe of Skyrim. Like, it brings it to the 21st century, really. Even though, it was released in the 21st century, but that's not the point. The point's that you can run around in a circle without the camera being locked to your shoulder, and it feels really organic. It also gives you the ability to target lock, which goes really well with TK dodge. I think the other mod I'm using is Ultimate Combat for all like the deflections, like Sekiro, Ultimate Combat add-on, whatnot. So yeah, it's all good stuff. And from there on, it's personal choice with your graphics mods. I like adding better, realistic, flappy armor with lots of stuff hanging off it. I like big swords like this one, the Claymore, and I love mods like vibrant weapons, which gives me this. You get fire, frost, and electrical visual enchantments. There's another one too, which adds like kind of like a vortex around your weapons, which I also don't mind. So this is what remained of Bartholo, and yeah, it's not good for him, is it? Yep, and someone's out to get us. So it's actually ironically safer to jump into the blood curse, and there's no book there, so I don't know what I'm doing. When I first played Skyrim, I was at a friend's beach house, and I'd never experienced a game like it before. I had a similar experience a few years earlier too, when I first saw someone playing GTA San Andreas. But my gaming experience before that was literally RuneScape and Call of Duty 4 to be specific. I think these days it's more or less a free give me to dunk on Skyrim. It's not hard to do, and you know, you have like patrician TVs, 20-hour blast on it, which I wouldn't really call a blast because he takes it down in a very constructive way. I don't know how I live that. I really don't know how I live that. But yeah, he takes it down in a really constructive way. But it goes without saying, it's really easy to dunk on, right? But at the time, when it came out, this game was amazing. And yeah, the systems have simplified when you go back and play Morrowind and Oblivion and even Daggerfall. I haven't played Arena, sorry. Yeah, you can definitely tell then what was taken away. And you know, there's definitely reasons for why they did it. You can sort of catch glimpses of it when you watch old, you know, media presentations on it and whatnot. But yeah, needless to say, at the time, this was an amazing game. To me, I view modding as recreating that initial experience from playing Skyrim. You're more or less recapturing what your initial playthrough was, and over time that feeling goes away until you spend more time modding than playing. Which you talk to anyone that mods Skyrim and you'll hear the comment, "Oh, I spent 4 hours getting the right mods, and then I booted up and didn't want to play anymore." It's because at some point it is a natural entropy where it's still Skyrim, and nothing can really make it different. What motivated me to make this video series was I got a new computer from a friend, and I'm able to pump up the graphics, and make it sooner, make it look beautiful, and make it run gorgeously, and you know, so I can present something that looks somewhat different to a traditional Skyrim playthrough. My decoy here failed. And at the same token, accumulatively between Special Edition and the old Rim, I've probably put over 2,500 hours into Skyrim. So I've definitely got insane value. And what did I spend? Because you get the Special Edition free if you have the old Rim. So what did I spend? Probably $40, I want to say. $40 plus DLCs maybe. So 1 hour of gameplay costs about 1 cent. So I've definitely got my money's worth. But yeah, as time goes on, the effort required to shake up the game with newer and better mods is just less appealing. And like I was saying, it's a natural entropy. I mean, after this playthrough, I'll probably be burnt out to a point now where I won't play for a very long time. I mean, I don't know, maybe there'll be some mod that gives you like better hair physics, and I'll come back in for another 300 hours or something. But you know, but one thing that has deteriorated the Elder Scrolls, I think, is the absurdity of the lore not being more prevalent in the game. I mean, how do you go from having the Shivering Isles, which was a massive success, people loved it, and then going back to Skyrim, which is by all means a very grounded world. I mean, the only thing that jumps out are the dragons, but even then, they're presented as big slimy lizards. So now we're in the main blood curse, which involves Julius's mum, Julia, not to get them confused. So we're gonna go fight her hatred, her curse, and it is a reskin dragon fight, but very cool aesthetics, I will say. But the quest mods I mentioned earlier, they all involve at some point going to a really weird Daedric realm. Like Carbrink, you go into Perioth's realm. Beyond Reach, you go into Mimira's realm. I guess Spectreverse, you don't really, or Forgotten City, you don't really go into certain realm, but in and of itself, it's like its own little it's sort of zaniness, right? And it's really jarring, I guess. You can only blame yourself for the mods you put in, right? But when you do those, like look at this. Now you go back to Skyrim and you got like Alvor, like, you there, get me 5 steel ingots and I will teach you how to temper your armor. It's like, okay, this is very structurally and contextually different, and I'm getting good at rolling on these heads, by the way. Doesn't happen so much until I start recording this. Don't get me wrong, you do have the Solcan and Apocrypha in the base game, and they are really good, obviously. Even though Apocrypha is quite linear, but it's still really enjoyable. And for me, I kind of want to take it into more fantasy settings. Because to go back to my point with the dragons, right? The lore says that they're these really intelligent creatures capable, like, they used to rule the world. But are they presented that way? Nope. They're presented as annoying big lizards that just come and attack you, and 4 giants at once and get absolutely obliterated. They don't seem intelligent to me. But yeah, so it just feels like a missed opportunity, and I get what they were going for, but juxtaposing or comparing what's written in the lore versus what you get in the game, it's like they're 2 different fantasy settings, so they don't even really feel that connected. And this is where the mods come in, because they sort of bridge that gap to an extent. And, you know, to play devil's advocate, it definitely would be challenging to implement zaniness, because you need the mundane first, which makes it stand out. And I think Vigilant attempts to do this, but the implementation is a little off. A lot of the quest lines and the meanings are often too deep and require a lot of analysis to truly understand. So here we are getting ready to fail. And I'm not sure if it's me being a monkey brain showing off my intellect. For my first playthrough, I just completely took everything at face value. I didn't read into things. I went, oh, that's weird. And it can be very confusing. And I feel like, you know, there's a few, like Cortho put a really good video out on Vigilant, which goes into the lore explanations. But yeah, it's just super confusing. So we finally come to Julius and see his body. You look at the young Julius sacrifice his own life in a cursed ritual. The dagger beside him is being the fire curse. Do you wish to dispel it? Yep. Please don't do this, Papa. Let's dispel the dagger and Send his soul to Aetherius. Hoorah! So now we've killed Julius, we need to escape the mansion, but it's all fucked. It's all burning down. We can't really escape. And this is where this critical decision comes we need to make, where we either get saved by Molag Bal or let ourselves burn to death, because we never want to take a deal with him.
Fragile. How very fragile mortals are. I am here to save you. Not much longer now, and you will be incinerated by the flames of Julius's hatred. This child's hatred is strong. Its flames will not go out until they burn you to ashes. Even LeMay's hatred was nothing like this. This is why Molag Bal is offering you a helping hand. And yet you pray to the divines? Stendarr will not lift a finger to save your pathetic skin. It is his wish that you burn.
So, frankly, to martyr ourselves is purely for very specific role-playing points. In terms of the story of Vigilant, it is completely not relevant. Because it's quite dumb. It doesn't make sense what Molag Bal actually wants.
I can show you a miracle. I will continue to extend my
Because, yeah, you martyr yourself and then you take the position of a new Vigilant that's going to investigate where you went because you've been away for more than a week, right? But then you go into Act 4 still as per normal, and what Molag Bal wants from you doesn't really make sense because he wants a Dragonborn, right? He wants you. So,
well, what shall it be? Your wish is...
I think the only problem I have with this is you could be a very high level Dragonborn in your end game, so you should be technically able to escape with shouts, but you're not able to. But
eternal suffering,
you know,
and forsaken people.
whatever.
Only acceptance can ease the pain. It is better to abandon all hope.
But this is the conclusion of Act 3, and I hope you've enjoyed it, because now we're up to Act 4, and this is where shit hits the fan. So, look forward to seeing you then. Bye.